All right, welcome back to wholesaling and flipping houses. Today on this video, I want to talk to you about making an offer, and I want to break down my formula of how I make offers. So let's go ahead and jump in here. I used round numbers for this particular video, but let's go ahead and start with the ARV, which is after repair value. So basically what we do is once we have a property and we analyze it, we pull MLS comps. Now there's other sources out there that I personally do not vouch for either way, but I do know that people use other sources and they're successful. Personally, my preference is MLS comps. Can't go wrong with that. Myself, I will pull them, and then I also have my realtor as well. She'll pull them. So after repair value, we pull the comps on the property, and we make sure that we're looking at same comparable properties, as far as the square footage. And I'll dive into this in a little bit more detail, but just to kind of recap a little bit. On pulling comps, we look at similar size, square footage, 10 to 15% either way. And then we also look at lot sizes. We look at the number of bedrooms. We look at we only compare 1 stories to 1 stories, 2 stories to 2 stories, and we break it down by price point. We personally, the way we do our business, we don't use the price per square foot. We do factor that in, but that's not the formula that we use. So once we have our value, we know where to go from here. Okay. So ARV after repair value, and then the first thing that I deduct off of the value is my desired profit. Now my desired profit is in the range of 15 to 18%. Of course, if I can make 20 or 21%, that's great. But again, I'm not here to steal deals. I'm not here to take advantage of people. As long as I can, on paper make, 15%, which is what this is, this formula. If I can make 15% profit, I'm good to go. Now, there's been some cases where I've made, 13%, something like that. But I always do my absolute best to make sure that on paper, before going into the deal, that I give myself the best chance to make minimum of 15%. Okay? And that's the first thing I factor in, because that's what I do. I need to pay myself first. Okay? Then I factor in the repair cost. What is it going to take to, in the property's present condition, what is it going to take to bring it up to standard to where I can get the $300,000 ARV? Okay, my repairs are $50,000. Then I have a contingency budget of $7,500. Now, what that is like an oh crap or a surprise, or something mistake that we can make, or our contractor can make. Almost always when you're flipping houses, you need to factor in going over budget on every deal. You may not. You may come in under budget sometimes, but you need to, at minimum, factor in. A lot of times you get in there and you don't know, what's going on, to the full extent. You can uncover, you want to replace the sheetrock on a certain wall, and you may find there's a major electrical issue, or you may find that there's a plumbing issue that you didn't see in the beginning. So there's a lot of things that you can find as far as surprises go, or there's mistakes that you can make. Costs can go up. There's just a whole long list of things. You can end up having to fire a contractor, and then having to start over with another one. That's going to cost you more money. So there's just a whole long list of things that can cause you to go over budget. So it's always good to have that. Now, what I do is I do either 15% of the budget, or 5,000, which is greater. So in this particular scenario, 15%, 7,500. Then I'm gonna factor in my costs. My costs are gonna consist of my realtor commissions when I go ahead and list it on MLS. When I'm done with the rehab, I'm gonna have to factor in 6% for that. Then I'm gonna have to factor in my closing costs, my cost of money. Then I have holding costs as far as, mortgage or interest payments to my lender, whether it's a hard money lender or a private lender. So my costs are going to be their utilities. That's all going to be factored in here. You're also going to have property taxes that you're going to be responsible for when you go to sell the property. So this is everything that I factor in when I come up with my MAO, which is maximum allowable offer. So in this scenario, with $300,000 property that needs $50,000 in work, I've got my contingency budget in there. I'm going to have $39,000 in costs, and I want to make a profit of $45,000. Okay, that's 15% profit. My maximum allowable offer on this property is going to be $158,500. Okay, so if you're going to wholesale this property to me, which this is a property that I'll be glad to take on, if you're going to assign this property, you need to take your assignment fee out of that. So you need to start negotiating. When you negotiate with your seller, you need to start below. Whatever it is. If you want to make $10,000, then you need to be at $148,500, and so on. So that's just a quick, easy overview of how I make my offers. And of course, if I'm going to assign the property myself, I'm going to come in below that as well. So this is pretty fair, in my opinion, and what I've experienced over the almost 8 years I've been doing this. 15% profit is pretty fair. So let's go back and do a really quick recap again. I want to make sure you get this, because this part is very, very important. The two areas of your money where you make your money is in your acquisitions, okay, and your repairs, okay. That's where your money is, in these two areas, acquisitions and repairs. Those are very important to your profits. Okay, so we start out with $300,000. I want to make 45. It's going to take 50, and it's going to have a $7,500 contingency budget or an oh crap budget. Then I got my cost at 39. So I just go down the line. 300 minus 45 minus 50 minus 7,500 minus 39, and that's how I come up with 158.5. So again, if you're going to wholesale a property to me, you need to be below that, whatever your assignment fee is going to be. Now, let's talk about assignment fees really quick. I see a lot of people out there trying to make $30,000, $50,000, $60,000 on an assignment fee. You can only do that, in my opinion, you can only do that when the deal allows it. Okay? I've had a couple of deals where I've been a part of that, I've been a part of one that's made 60, and I've been a part of one that's made 75. But that's only because the deal at the time, those deals permitted it. Okay? But those are going to come around. I've been doing this almost 8 years, and those are the only two that I've been a part of that have been like that. I typically try to make somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 for an assignment fee. If I can make 15, then great. If I have to settle for 7,500, then great. I'll do it. But I'm not going to sit there and try to make 30, 40, 50,000 on every single assignment fee, because it's not going to be available every single time. And when I work with my buyers, I gotta leave something on the bone for them. I gotta leave money on the table for them. Otherwise, if I don't, one, they may not buy the property, and two, if they do buy the property and they don't do very well on it because I took all the meat, then next time I send them a property, they're not gonna be interested in it. So you always want to make sure that your buyers, if they're rehabbers, flippers, whatnot, you want to make sure that they're going to be able to make money. And if they're buy and hold buyers, you want to be able to make sure that they can cash flow. Okay. So, in order to make, say a $40,000 assignment fee, you'd have to be at 118 or somewhere in that neighborhood. If you got somebody that's a little bit more aggressive and maybe you get under contract for 125 and they're willing to pay 165, that's on them. But at the same time, they still have to be able to make their money. And I always factor that in whenever I'm doing my negotiations, when I'm doing my offers and determining my exit strategy, is if I'm going to assign this, is my buyer going to be able to make money? Am I going to be able to do more deals with them in the future? Because I look at the big picture. I'm not about, assigning a deal to a buyer and that being the only deal that I do with them. I want to be able to do multiple deals with them. And so if I have to take, instead of, a $30,000 assignment fee, if I have to take 10 or 15, but that means that they're going to make money. And they're going to say, hey, they're going to call me looking for deals. Hey, you got another one of those deals? That's the best kind of buyer to have. And I actually work with a few good buyers like that, they're literally calling me, hey, you got another deal like that? I've got a relationship with my buyers, which I'll cover in another video coming up very shortly, talking about buyers. My process for assigning properties is very simple. I can text or pick up the phone and call a handful of people, literally. And most of the time I get it to them, and one of them will take it. If not, then I go to a real estate event, networking event, and I bring the deal and I talk to people there. And if I go through those two steps and I still don't find a buyer for that property, then more than likely I don't have a deal. The next thing that I do is I'll throw it up on social media, which I've only had to do a couple of times. But I'll throw it up on social media and see if I get any bites there. And if I don't, then that typically means that I don't have a deal. However, I will say that in the 8 years that I've been doing this, I've only had to terminate 2 or 3 contracts. One of them being the fact that we could not locate all the heirs to the property. So I had no choice. I couldn't close the property with clear title. Now, there was a couple other things that I could have done on that deal, but that was a long time ago. That was early. It was before I knew what I knew today. So we ended up having to terminate that contract and move on to the next one. But other than that deal, I think it's probably been 2 other contracts that, have been overpriced and I've had to get out of. But I take a lot of pride in making sure that before I put a house under contract with a seller, because you got to understand, a seller's mentality, 99.9% of the time, when they sign that contract, their house is sold. And that is not the case. There's due diligence period, there's closing that has to happen. That property is not sold, whether it's with your seller or, for example, like this property that I'm trying to sell. The property is not sold until the docs are signed and the money is in the bank. That is when the property is sold. And so to put a house under contract with a seller and in turn having to back out because you got it under contract for too high of a price, that, in my opinion, that's not good business practice. And that's, the opinion of a lot of people. So I do everything I can to make sure that when I get it under contract, it's going to be under a price that I can close, or that I have the best chances of closing at. I'm not going to put a house under contract just to get it under contract. So, one last recap. 300 minus 45, which is my profit. Then I got my repairs, 50K, contingency budget or oh crap budget, 7,500. cost $39,000. On a $300,000 property at these numbers, in order for me to make my $45,000 profit, my MAO, which is maximum allowable offer, is $158,500. So if you're going to assign a property like this to me, then your assignment fee needs to come out of this, and that's where you need your MAO is. So if you're going to be making a $10,000 assignment fee, then your MAO needs to be at $148,500. It's that simple. All right. So on my next video of this series, I will be talking about buyers, working with buyers, different types of buyers, finding buyers, building your buyers list, how big should your buyers list be, things of that nature. So I will be talking about buyers. And then I will also, it may be in the same video, it may be in a different video, but another topic that's coming up soon is once your offer is accepted, getting the property under contract. And then what you should do once you get once you get the property under contract, what is your next step after you get the property under contract? Another topic coming up soon is evaluating repairs, estimating repairs, and how you can do things and get started and evaluate repairs even if you have no construction experience. I personally don't have any construction experience. I don't do any of this work, but through the people that I have learned from, through the people that I've been around and I surround myself with, over the 8 years doing this, I've been able to learn a lot more than what I know today is a lot more than what I knew when I first started. And it's not really that hard to evaluate repairs. So there you have it. You got some upcoming videos, some good topics coming up here pretty soon. So again, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. If you have any feedback, you like these videos, or you have any questions, you have a deal that you want me to look at, or a property you want me to look at, 832-534-2274, or you can find me on social media. My name is James Haney with Houston House Flip. Look me up, shoot me a text, and let's connect. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks for watching.